Hi everyone, so today I have a sponsored video for you from Tonic Studios for their new craft kit. I believe it's called Frames for Friends, and so we'll check it out in just a moment. So they did send this item free of charge for my review, and of course all opinions are my own, and any links I have in the description box will be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items through those links, so thank you for using those if you can. I generally link the monthly membership, which is a membership, and then every month you receive the kit. You can also skip. I generally link the quarterly membership, which is a membership that's a little bit lower in pricing because you're going ahead and paying for the 3 months, and you can also skip within those 3 months. So, you know, say you like this month and then the next one, well, maybe I'll wait for the next one, so you skip that one and then you already have 2 more paid ahead still. I hope that makes sense. And I believe the shipping is also lower on that one. And then the one-off purchase, which is just, I just want to get this one. I don't want any kind of commitment, even if I can skip and things like that. So you can just do the one-off. And if you are a member, you do get 10% off the site when you place other orders during the month, as long as you're an active member. So just something to keep in mind. And yeah, so let's check this out. So this is, again, the meat and potatoes. You have a nice little binder. Or folder, should I say, that you then put into a binder that you get every few months that they hold, I believe, 3 at a time. So this month we have the folder. And again, I get samples, so mine might be slightly different than yours. Sometimes I'll have my sticker, sometimes I don't, sometimes, you know, different things. But assorted frames is what this says. And like I said, I think it's called Frames for Friends, so we'll see when it finally does go ahead and come out. And I should say, because I know people ask questions about, is this one I'm getting next month, or is this one for this month, you know, that kind of thing. So I know they launch on the 20th. So if you are a member, you know, you have like 10 days to check it out. If you're already signed up, you're going to get it at the beginning of the following month. I hope that makes sense. So this is the 20th. You're seeing the video, you have about 10 days or so before they go ahead and ship out the next one. And if you're signing up, you have until, again, almost the 20th of the next month to sign up. So, but if you do sign up for this one, you will be receiving it. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, look at this. Okay, so very cool. Lots of frames. I can see that already. Like these little like frame kind of corners or like swag kind of pieces is what I'm seeing here. Some flowers, some like leaves. We have sentiments. These are always photopolymer stickers. Basically, you know, if you're getting something from Tonic, it's photopolymer. Thank you, never stop dreaming, love and hugs, well done, with love, and you'll be missed. Very cute to stamp. Maybe stamp and emboss, maybe stamp and emboss color, maybe stamp in color. Lots of ways to use these guys. Let me put them on there so you can see them a little better. And let's check this out. Okay, and then this is the other side of the split die set. And so we have a little square, just, you know, I'm assuming they cut these guys out, yeah. And then, oh, inlays, let's see. So we have these beautiful pieces here, and then there's inlays for them. So you can see this one looks like it has like a rose kind of look with the leaves over here, a flower that repeats like from this flower here, that tucks into these other guys. So again, we can matte layer and stuff like that. Some of them are slightly, you know, kind of different, like Art Deco on that one. The little, oh, that's cool. So even the leaves have a little inlay for them. And this is for the smaller one, that's for the larger one. We have Just to Say, For a Friend. It looks like it says, sorry, yeah, and then Your something. I'm not quite sure what this one says, but we have that one there too. Or something like that, yeah. Very, very cool. So let's put those guys to the side. I know I'm not the best at reading this script, especially when it's backwards, you know, from a die. Huge, look at this, 7-inch bright white card blanks and envelopes, and this is a 7-inch square. Oh my gosh, and then the envelopes, look at the envelope. Gorgeous. Love it. Love those basics. It comes with a cleaning cloth. Now this cleaning cloth is a stamp cleaning cloth. It's like a little chamois kind of thing, so you're definitely going to want to wet this and then keep it like in a little baggie or something like that. Just rinse it out every once in a while so it stays wet, basically. And that's how that helps you clean off your stamps and things. And they do give you some information on the back on how to care for it, but they are really, really great. And then we have our embellishment extras here. Ooh, look at this. A Nuvo Hybrid ink pad, a full size one in Safari Green. That is a very pretty color. I have several other greens. I don't believe I have Safari Green, so this is great. And the hybrid ink are good with water-based items, like if you're to color in with them. Generally, you know, that's usually like black or brown that you're gonna stamp with and then color in, but they all have the same kind of formula, so you can use alcohol ink markers or water-based products with that and it won't migrate. The clear mark embossing pad, this is very good, very good. Use mine all the time, so I'm happy to have this guy. And again, with this, you know, use it with embossing powders. It is clear, so you can use it with colored embossing powders or just clear embossing powder and maybe do a resist or however you want to use that. We have this beautiful, very soft lilac color. It's called Wisteria, lilac Wisteria. Okay, so Wisteria purple, and it is the crystal drops. It has a little kind of beautiful shimmer to it. Very pretty color. And then we have some embossing powder, and this one happens to be like a silver moonlight. You can see that there. Again, work great with your embossing pad there. And then what else do we have in this guy? Ooh, dimensional foam pads, very good. So these are 5mm and 2mm thick. So I love that. Not super high. I love adding dimension when it's not like this much just because of the foam pad, you know. So those are really nice size. Let me put these things to the side and we'll look at our papers. And generally your kit will come with like a little brochure kind of folio thing or like a, yeah, like a card, and it'll tell you everything that's in the kit with a little bit of inspo, like some images and things. So again, that beautiful little Craft Perfect folder, which is really nice to hold your pretty papers, and very floral, very gorgeous. Oh, look at that. I was almost going to skip over this lilac colored one here. I'm trying to splay these out and hopefully I don't miss one, because sometimes I do. So gorgeous. You know, I don't recall if they call this one fuchsia. This is one I use a lot. I think there's another called strawberry or something, but this is gorgeous. I love it, with the lilac and then a very soft pink. These are all classic cardstock right here, these first several. And what that means, it has like a linen texture. And if you're going to stamp on it, I always stamp on the back side where it's a little bit less of the linen texture, so you can get a nicer image if you're going to be stamping on it. We have like a very soft yellow, pastel yellow, with a nice pop of that green. And then we have some pearlescent papers, which are double-sided, and then your glitter paper is single-sided. So pearlescent kind of mint color, a gorgeous just white pearlescent, and then you have your, I always want to call this one sugar crystal, something like that, but they definitely, it's just a classic with them. I mean, it's gorgeous. And again, it's single-sided. So what I'm going to do is gather my thoughts, think about what we want to do, and create a card. I'll be right back. To get started, I was thinking about this, because I know in the US, we don't do a lot of larger cards like this size, but one thing I do like to do with something like this is make smaller cards from it. So I'm going to take this card base, which is super thick and amazing. It's 111 pounds, it says. I mean, it's definitely 350 GSM, if not thicker feeling. But what I do is I cut this down. So I'm going to show you how to make 4 little note cards. So they can be like little note cards or like gift tags, things like that. So what I'm going to do is bring this guy, and where we have our score line, our fold there, I'm going to go to 3.5, because this is 7 inches. So 3.5. And I'm just going to cut that down. And we have these two that are going to be 3.5 by 7, and we're going to score them at 3.5 inches. So now we have 2 more cards. And from this one, I'm going, I mean, you can definitely make a card like this, right? Even just like a mini slimline, it's 3.5 by 7. You can cut it down, or even just do a card this size. That's fun. But I'm going to make a few little cards. So 3.5. I already have 2 card bases that are 3.5 inches square. And then with these guys, we're just going to score them at 3.5 and make 2 more card bases. And you know what? Why not? Let's make all of them. So let's do this. We'll get some matte layers going. We'll do some of the die cutting, maybe some inlays on the matte layers. Different ways to use this stuff. So yeah, let's just come up with some different fun ideas here. So 3.5 again. And now we have 4 sweet little card bases, and you know, just depending on what you're, excuse me, going to do with your stamps and images. Let me grab these things. So we have the square die, right? So if you wanted to cut this out, you have the square die, or oh, maybe even make an aperture with that and then have that stamped. Oh, wouldn't that be cute? Okay, maybe one of these will be a shaker. That'd be really cute. The other thing, some of these guys, well, not some of them, they all pair up with a background. So like you can have that with, you know, a background piece too on your wording. And I think we're gonna cut this one out because we need to know what it says. So we'll use that guy. And some of these, I think the sizing will be great for a 3.5, I hope. Oh my gosh, look at that. Perfect. Okay, that's cute. Let me see. Yeah, and some of these I was thinking about just inlaying. So let's see. What was the inlay that goes with this one? So let me just, yeah, give it a little bit of thought. Maybe this guy. Right, if we just did a little card that had like an inlay. I mean, these can even go on the side. It looks very much like this, but it still has that kind of thing going. Cute. Oh, but these are much more. Let me think about what I want to do. I'm going to cut down some pieces of paper. They're either going to be a matte layer or our card base or however, but they're going to probably be, these are 3.5 inches, probably 3 3/8 inch squares so that they're as big as, you know, but leaving a little bit of border because that's what I like to do. So I'll be right back. A lot of ideas. And since we were just talking about shakers, what I was going to do is die cut into this and just lay this over it, you know, and just have something cute like that. So let's start with something that's a little more advanced and then we'll just go easier and easier or just play around, right? It's not that advanced, but I am just in love with this. So let's use this guy. And I want to die cut in here, and I know I had, or just like an inlay, and I had mentioned maybe doing a shaker, so I thought, you know what if we did that with a little hole cut out here? We have our, you know, little thank you or whatever we stamp in here. I did pick a bright pink in the background, so maybe for this one, maybe a lighter color would have been good, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp on this too, so we're just going to go for it. So I'm centering this in a way that still gives me some room to go ahead and inlay or put in the 3D foam adhesive, because I might have to trim it down just a little bit on that area, but I'm just kind of eyeballing this and thinking about how thick the foam is. So I'm bringing it over probably a little more than I normally would. I would probably put it closer to the edge, and then this guy I can just cut out like here. And I think that's going to look really fun and pretty. So I'm going to tape those down so they don't move, and I'm going to run it through my die cutting machine, and I'll be right back. So I just ran that through, and let's see. Oh, so gorgeous. I mean, how clean that is. How pretty. So in the meantime, while I was paused, I got a piece of acetate and I just cut it down to 3, just a little smaller than the 3 3/8 inches square. So we're just going to glue that down. So let me just grab some glue here. And whenever I do this, I mean, definitely around the edges, right? And then just definitely in here. And then whatever areas that are here and there that you think can help kind of stay down. Not too much, because of course we're using acetate, which you can clean it up. It's just, you know, why do that if you can just be a little more careful at the beginning. And definitely in these areas I'm going to pat that off just a little bit. Again, I don't want that squishing out everywhere. And I'm just lining this because we need that to hold our glitter in, or whatever it is that you use. I will say the squares that this comes with, the 3D foam adhesive, you can definitely use that if you're using larger bits like what I'm going to use today, because this really coordinated really well. They're pretty big, so if you only have that, you know, adhesive, I would just line them up, and they don't even have to be that close together, because as long as these guys don't slip out, so, you know, just line them up so they're about that far apart. You can go all around the edges and it'll work out really well. I have long strips, so I'm going to go ahead and use those, and if I get to a spot where, you know, it's a little tight, I will just trim it down. I used to be the one that's like, oh no, I have to use the same piece around the whole thing, you know, I would go and then turn it like this and keep going, but sometimes it's better just to clip away. So I'm gonna put this like here, really making sure that stays down really well, and then just cut it away and start again in the other direction. And when you do that, just make sure you are close to this guy. Well, again, depending on the size of your glitter, but the rule of thumb is always to just butt it up right there. And I can see right here it's going to need to come in, so what I'm going to do is trim that away. And before I really push down, you can see the white there. I'm just going to cut some of that away. Usually I do it before I put it on here, but you know what, this works, because it's only a small area that needs to be any different. So I'll just do that, and then a little bit more, and maybe just trim this piece away. And if I did a good job, we should be good to go. Okay, and then I'll bring another piece down here, and then right in here. And I'll be back. I am just a silly Billy. While the acetate was off, that would have been a good time to just line this up and stamp right in there, knowing that's where you want to stamp. So next time, don't do any of this stuff yet. Just have your aperture, lay it over your card base, and just place your stamp there. You know that's where you're going to be stamping. But since I use a stamping tool anyway, I am going to place this here, and that there. And that should still give me a good idea of, you know, where this guy should be. And I'm just going to put this on here, I know. So it complicates it a little bit, but not too much. That looks good. Okay. I just want to make sure I have that centered. And let's go with, let's see, Love and Hugs. I think that's a nice bold one, especially since I'm using that gorgeous hot pink underneath. So Love and Hugs. And again, these are photopolymer. They do have a little sticky, like tacky dispersion layer. You definitely can wipe that away. You can use it a few times before you actually go to stamp. I'm just going to lay it right here, and then I'm going to bring my plate over, and that's how I'm going to pick it up. And that's how I know where I'm stamping. So it works out. I would just do it before all that next time. All right, and I'm just going to use black ink, I believe. So just going to take this guy. And again, I'm just going to stamp several times, but you know, you can kind of give it a little rub to get that dispersion layer off. And I'm aiming to stamp this a couple times anyway, because this is, again, classic cardstock, and it has texture. And what's funny about that is you can even see the texture on the stamp. And again, I told you guys we should stamp on the opposite side, and I still stamped on the very textured side. So I'm just going to do it one more time, and I will go with that. Or if I really wanted to, I guess I could turn it over and stamp on the other side, but no. Just push down a little harder. Look at that. Cute. Okay, so I'm going to clean up, and I'll be right back. So let's go ahead and take that little guy. And let's go ahead and put him on one of our card bases, and then we will add our spangles and the topper that we just created. That, and generally when I do this, and I know I'm going to need to put some glitter mix in, and my card wants to do that, I just kind of tape it down a little bit, help myself out a little bit. And again, not too much, but just enough to shake around there, something like that. And where's my topper? Here it is. Oh, let's go ahead and take the carriers off. So I'm just going to pick these guys off, and I'll be right back. Okay, making sure everything's nice and clean. I've got a little schmutz on there. And I left this one just like this because that tape might get in the way. So I just wanted to put this here so I can line it right up over that. And pull this away. And pull that away. And whenever I make shakers, I just kind of turn it over and really give it the good squish from the back. And you can always reinforce your 3D adhesive with some wet ink also. But there's a cute little card. Oh my gosh, how adorable is that? I love it. It feels so firm. Really nice, like sturdy. Super cute. Maybe you want to bring in some of your Nuvo drops and maybe add a little drop in there, a little drop in here, like in the flower centers, just to accentuate those areas. Really cute, but this card has lots going on right now, and so I'm gonna leave it like this. Next one we'll do is probably an inlay, and maybe we'll bring in some of the drops for that one. But let me clean up just a little bit and get set up for the next card. Guys, so we have our cute little card here. Let's try another one, and how about just some die cutting? And you know, I was just looking at this, it says you're invited. I can see the ITED, and I was like, what is the N? It's INV, ITED, so you're invited. But let's do just to say, and it's just going to be some die cut pieces that I'm going to put on the back here, and then I do want the portion that goes behind that just to add a pop of color. So where's just to say, is it that one? See how this fits, it goes this way, so this is the background for that one. So let's just start off with something cute with just like a little inlay. I was going to go for a couple of them. Let's see, does that work? Let's see if we have that one there. Let's say, I don't know if I can repeat it or if it should just be one piece. That's what I'm trying to look at. Let's go ahead and do 2 and then see if we can pop them in there. And I would like an inlay to go along with that. So we have this guy. Okay, and I'm just gonna take some scrap white paper, and not all white paper is the same, but those are pretty equal in the bright white color of them. And so I'm gonna cut out 2 of these. If I can just grab it, that'd be great. So I'm gonna have 2 of this guy. So I'm just going to pop that in there. Of course, tape these so they don't move. You don't want your dies slipping around. And I'll run it through twice to get 2 corner pieces. Like a little like musical piece. That's so cute. Love it. Okay, so we have our card base, and it's either gonna go this way and this way, or in the other directions like this and like this. You know, we'll see once we get our wording cut out. And so I'm just going to run these guys through, and I think I'll just do some pops of color. So something from the kit here, a background piece, and then the lettering, and I'll be right back. A couple of pieces cut here. So I'm just going to layer these together. Of course, let's go ahead and glue those down, and then we'll see kind of how we want to arrange them. In the meantime, I also cut, since I was, you know, rolling these guys through, a couple little flowers from this shape here. So perhaps we'll play with these, maybe not. But that's what I have. So I just cut them out from 2 of the same colors there, and I'm just going to glue my lettering down, and I'll be right back. Working along here, I'm probably going to do these like this, and then I cut out 1 of each color and 1 more set. So I have 2 of the brighter pink and 2 of the lighter pink, and you know what? I think I'm going to do something I haven't done in a very long time. So I used to like make these little flowers that you would just basically scrunch, and then they got like kind of artsy looking because of that. So I'm just putting these down. I'm going to spray them with some water. This is just water. Now, if you wanted to, I think it'd be really fun to spray them with like some Nuvo sprays, right? But basically all you're doing is taking it after they got wet and make sure they're really nice and wet. That way they can crunch up a lot. And crunching them literally to like nothing. Obviously you don't want to tear them, but you do want to crunch them up quite a bit. And you can dry them now while they're all crunched up, or you can open them up just a little bit. You can wait for them to dry, but I do not have time to do that. So what I'm going to do is open them up carefully, because this paper is really nice paper, so it just takes that water in really well. Made from paper, obviously. So let's just open them up a little bit. And, you know, however they're cupping, like this one looks like it wants to cup this way, that looks really great. And this little guy, okay. And I'm just gonna hit him with the heat tool just to dry them, okay? So I don't know if you can see how crunchy they are. And we'll just put them together in just a bit. That's ink from another project. I'll be right back. Before they're like super, super dry, you can glue them together. So I think I'm gonna put the lighter pink on top of the darker pink. So just, you know, get some nice glue and put a little dab, a nice amount, since these guys are kind of messed with and they're crunchy and all that. And I tried to offset them. So I'm going to open this up just a little bit more. So when this one nestles in on top, just kind of like that. And I'll do the same thing with the second one, okay? So just kind of open them up a little bit, whatever you need for them to nestle in together, and I'll be right back. Same thing with this guy. I'm just waiting for those to set up just a little bit. I'm gonna put them to the side and bring these guys back over and just glue them down. And I don't have a matte layer, I'm just going right into this beautiful white on white. So I'm just gonna put this, again, glue where it counts, and then put it down as high up in the corner as I can, right? Nestle it right up in there. And same thing with this one, I'll just glue it right down here. I see I have a little bit there still. Just right down here. Okay, and I'll be right back. I know it's hard to see because white on white bits, I'm like that. Since my little flowers have so much texture, I want them to be what really just kind of stands out here. So I think I'm just going to glue this right down. I mean, you can put some dimensionals if you would like, but for today I'm just going to go right down with that. And so that the little flowers have their little moment in the sunlight there. So in the spotlight, should I say. So I'm putting quite a bit of glue just because I really want to hold on to those guys. And just pop them in there, right? And then this guy over here. Cute. And I'll be right back once those have kind of set in a little bit. And I think what I'm going to do is take some of our lilac Nuvo drops and just put a little drop in there. Yeah, you can do something like that or not. Or maybe, you can also use the embossing powders, but you would definitely want that to really stay, and then when you heat it up, it kind of melts in the center there. So there's a couple different things to do, but I'll be right back. I am going to use the embossing powder, but I'm going to just glue it down with glue. So I'm going to put a little drop of glue in there. Probably should do one at a time, but here we go. And I was going to bring in the purple, but I thought, you know what, it's very pink and white, so let's just leave it that way for now. Let's open this guy up. And what I would do something like this is you want to be very like direct with where you're putting it. Is this taped? Yeah, it has little, no wonder I was like, I'm being met with some resistance. Here we go. And let me put down a scrap of paper or something that'll help me scoop that back in. And I would be very direct with where I'm putting this. Obviously I don't want to get it all over the place, especially because I didn't do anything to keep static from doing anything. So I'm just going to use a little spoon and just put that in there. And it is silver. Obviously it's embossing powder, it's not just glitter. But I'm just going to pop that in there. And just give it a minute to sit before I shake it out. Just so it kind of holds on to the glue, you know? So let that sit for a second, and then we'll pour back out. It's not too long, and I'm just going to turn this over and let that glitter kind of pour out. And I'll give it a good whack whenever it's really nice and dry, just to get those little pieces there just around here out, okay? And that is another little note card. Let me clean up and I'll be right back. For our next card, let's go into some of the lilac and then that beautiful sugar glitter paper. So I think I'm going to do with this one is, again, oh, yeah, I was going to use this guy. I was looking at the other one. I think what I'll do is I'll run this through both corners. So I'm looking at this part where it's kind of straight, and that's what I'm using as far as this. I mean, we could put it however you like, but that looks like where it should be going, like right here. So I'm going to tape that down, run it through, right? Go ahead and let that go, and then I will bring it around over here, also the next side, and run it through. Okay, I'll be right back. Oh, this is 3 3/8 of an inch square. All my little matte layers have been 3 3/8 of an inch square. And we'll pop our sentiment in there. Look how pretty. So I'm just going to be gluing those guys together. Again, you can always put some dimensional just behind here, just if you want this to be kind of up, and it just gives a different look. So let's grab another card base. Let's clean up a little bit. And so I'll just glue this guy down, and then the other one right on top. So again, just putting glue where it's important. Kind of how I do that. And I'll be right back. So I'm just layering these up. This guy, and then this guy's going to be glued right directly on top. Okay guys, so we have that gorgeousness. Look at that, so pretty. And so what I'm going to do is just take like some purple ink and stamp our sentiment. And let's go with something sweet, like fun. I was like, sweet, they're all sweet, but this one says never stop dreaming. I like that. Just have a little set of note cards, little cards ready to go for different things. And oh, I'm missing something. Gotta pop that back in there. Let's go with Royal Plum. And people ask me all the time where I got this little case. It came from the Dollar Tree, but they don't carry them anymore. So that's Dollar Tree out here in the US. Let's make sure that doesn't move just in case. Okay. So again, we have that, you know, dispersion layer, so just gonna do that. And then, like I said, another thing that you can do is kind of streak that if you want some texture, and we'll see if I get this in one stamping, because if I do it again, maybe that texture will go away, right? Look at that. Very nice. I'll wash this off. I'll give you a close-up in just a minute. So it has like a little streaked kind of look to it. So I'm gonna cut that out with that little square. And then, I think we're gonna make another flower, guys. I'm just getting real artsy today, so we'll run that through and we'll get that cut out. But I have that lilac color, right? Or this kind of soft color that we have here. And then we have this flower. And I wasn't gonna get super artsy with it, but I think I will, because that way, you know, this is the same lilac, so just to kind of differentiate it, what I'm going to do is just take some of that same purple ink, and honestly I could just rub it right on there because it's you're not gonna be able to tell what I do with it later. But I'm just gonna get some ink, just take some color on here and make it super artsy, something like that. Okay, and I'm gonna run these through to get 2 of them. Okay, so run it through and run it through again. So this little guy that's going to be popped up in there. I also grabbed a little bit of the greens, so what we're going to do with those guys is just go ahead and cut out some of the leaves, and I think I'll just do the smaller leaf. So we have this large guy that's really kind of like flouncy and pretty, and then maybe this guy. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 of them or just 1, but let's do that. And then we have the inlay. So on this lighter green, just because the colors are a little more subdued, what I think is on the light green, I'll run it through this way so I have that little kind of skeleton leaf look. And then the background will be this dark green. So I'll run it through twice to get 2 of these, twice through this, just that guy to get 2 of the background layers. And then with this guy, again, I'm gonna do the same thing I did earlier. And this time I'm just gonna put it on here, just wet them a little bit, and I don't think the ink will react because it's hybrid ink. So it shouldn't. It should stay pretty much where it was, maybe a little more water. Scrunch both of them up, hit them both with a heat tool, and just kind of open them up a little bit. You don't want to leave them too scrunched. Heat tool, and I will be right back. So we have our different pieces. I'm probably just going to go ahead and glue this guy down. Again, the flowers have that dimension and texture for me, and so I'm just kind of centering that as well as I can. And then these guys, so we'll put the little skeleton leaf part, this guy. I'll do the same thing for the other one, and then these guys again, just put a little dab of glue and layering them up however it looks, best, and I'll be right back. Okay, I was just holding my little flowers together, just kind of seeing where I might want to put it. I think right there would be nice. Okay, so let me put a little glue. And then these little guys, funny enough, I had put them a little bit one side to the left and the next time more to the right, and it came out with 2 leaves that have like a different look to them, just because of the way the inlay was placed, So let's get some glue on this guy, and obviously you want to see the dreaming part. I'm going to hold that down and then just kind of put some glue on the back of these leaves and tuck them in where I think that looks cute right there. So I'll put a little glue on the back and just tuck them back in, that middle down. And I'm just going to take a little bit of this, and actually a good amount of this, and drop it in here. And you can put like 3 little dots if you want to, or just 1 big amount. I didn't think about that. Maybe we'll do like a little drop. That's so cute. Maybe just do a couple little drops, so it just looks like a little more stylized flower. Just giving it a squeeze and let go. And if you want to do more, what you can do is wait for those to dry and then come back in and do some more so that they kind of stay on their own. But I might add in a couple more just to, there we go, make it a little more playful. And there's a 3rd little note card, very artsy and fun. I'll be right back. One, and I apologize if I hadn't mentioned that the mats were 3 3/8 of an inch. For this one, I'm just taking some of the pieces that I had that were like cut off, from here and there, and I have this piece, and this is 3 1/4. So we have 3 1/2 inch card bases, right? So that one's 3 1/4, and I'm just going to glue that right down. And then this one is a 3-inch square. And honestly, the reason I'm doing matte layers is just because I had this little piece left over, and I was like, what can I do with it? So I cut it down to 3 inches square that, make a nice mat there. And then what I think I'm going to do is, let's do For a Friend. I'm going to cut this out of some of this pink paper I have left over. I might have a smaller piece. If I have a smaller piece, I'll cut it from there just to conserve paper. But I'm going to take the little scroll that, and hopefully we have it correctly. If this is For a Friend, I don't know that it's symmetrical like one way or the other, So let's see. Well, good thing I checked, because see, that looks much better. All right, For a Friend. And I'm just going to center that on this little piece. And I'm eyeballing it, you guys. just like that. And again, you can definitely make an aperture and do a shaker card and all that, but I'm just going to run that through, and then I'm going to run this through some pink paper, and I'll be right back. It's going to be very simple, and look how sweet and delicate this is. Oh my gosh. A little for a friend. And I'm just going to pop that there. Now you can pop it up. That gives a whole other dimension, you know, literally. But I'm just going to stick that down here. That guy there. And then, I mean, just so sweet. So we're gonna pop that in there. And I was gonna keep it just this simple, but you know what? Let's add some little flowers. So let me put some glue on the back of my hand. And there's a really small flower in this set, well, compared to the other ones. And I think what I'm gonna do is just cut out several of them, and then we'll just pop them in here and there. So this guy. And I have some purple, some of the lavender just waiting here. So this guy, I think I'm just gonna run it through maybe 4 times. So I have a bouquet of like 3 in 1, and I'll be right back. Kind of just played around with those, and I think that looks great. So I'm just going to put some glue on the back of my hand again, and where is my little tweezer? Here we go. Just gonna dip that on there. And pop it right there. I'll do the same thing with the other 3. Guys, and there are little cards. I mean, look how sweet. Cute little note cards. I mean, if it's any smaller or even something like this, you can definitely punch a hole in it and just add it to a gift, you know, that kind of thing. You can definitely design a little envelope for them. I made these kind of thick in a way so that they were just like fun cards, you know. So our first little shaker here with some stamping. Our minimalist kind of artsy card over here with the little flowers. This one's a little more ethereal and sweet, you know, with the Never Stop Dreaming and the little cutouts in the back. I love it with that little flower. And then a more simple, just die cut card. So thanks for watching. Thank you so much, Tonic Studios, for sending these items for review, for sponsoring the video. I will have images coming up. I'll have the links in the description box, and I'll see you all at the next one. Bye now.